What's good, everybody? Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Shout out to the QB girls, the girls in their cubicles, the girls making their rounds on a hospital floor with their Bluetooth in their ear listening to me. Shout out to the fellas at work, wherever you are on your grind. If you're at home with your kids, thank you for tuning in to my channel. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, MMG, better known as the Mommy Money Getter. What's everybody up to today? Let me know in the chat, where are you from? How's it going for you? How is your day going? How is life treating you? As for me, I'm blessed. I'm blessed as always. And I pray that the same is the feeling that you have for yourself. We are all blessed no matter what, no matter what circumstances that we are in, we are blessed. And my life isn't a bowl of cherries. It isn't for anybody, right? I don't care how rich or poor you are, what color of your skin. We all have things that go on, and we all can relate to each other on a lot of things, especially when it comes to family drama. Now, some of us talk about it online, and some of us, we just keep it private because if you're like me, you're a private person. That's the way I was raised. Like, you don't put your family business out in the street, right? Like, you just don't do that. That's ghetto. You don't get, and especially online, get online and talk about family. Well, I can tell you, honey, I have got online and got into it bad with one of my cousins one time. It was awful. I still can't live that down, honey. You guys know I get on here, I present myself a certain way. And to be honest, that's who I really am. I really am the way you see me. This is who I am. Of course, we all have our public selves, right, and our private selves. And that day, my private self came out. I called myself protecting a sibling of mine, and it taught me so many things. One, you don't ever jump into the fire for somebody else. I don't care who it is, unless it's your child. And when I say child, I mean underage child, right? Because these grown ones, honey, they'll show their butts on you too. You'll be defending them, and honey, you have egg on your face. I've learned that over the years. And the Bible says that it says don't come to somebody's defense, because sometimes you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what's going on. And it's not your business, right? So even though that was my sibling, we were all grown. So if she didn't feel the need to go defend herself, then I could have felt however I felt about it, but that was up to her. But needless to say, we were on Facebook carrying on, honey. It got so bad. It got so bad. And things like that can go left and can go bad. We've seen people even get pew pew from coming on social media and airing each other out. Drama has no place for on social media. I'll just say that. Drama has no place on social media. I don't care who it is, who it's about. And when I say drama, I mean a production. You're coming on here, you're going live, you're telling everything, you don't care about who it's gonna hurt. You're adding people who have nothing to do with what you're talking about, right? That's what I mean about drama. I feel like we all have a story to tell, and however we decide to tell it is on us. And I don't care if somebody else get hurt behind what our truth is, right? Because if you didn't want it told, you shouldn't have done it. That's number one. Number two, it should be a testimony, right? When we come online, we should give our best selves, and we should speak in such a way that our stories can elevate elevate us, right? Or that it can help someone else. And it may not always be a pretty story, but I feel like if you're coming on here and you're going to tell your story, tell it in a way that is not salacious. Tell it in a way that it glorifies God. And I think, and I've said this before on Facebook, people tell their testimony too soon, because sometimes people get on here and it's a woe is me story, right? And victimhood will never work for anybody. It's all about being a survivor. It's all about being an overcomer. It's all about facing your challenges head on, going through them, and then sharing your story. Because at the end of the day, God has to get the glory. And while you're in the storm, perhaps maybe you want to speak with a clergy person or whoever it is that your church leader is. Perhaps you want to get therapy and talk about it with a professional and get it all out and work through it. So perhaps you want to talk to a friend about it. And even then, you don't want to even bombard your friends with all of it, right? And sometimes you can't go to your family because they can be a part of your issue. But what you can do is you can you can journal, right? Journal. If you don't have anybody else to talk to, you have yourself. Break out that journal and start writing down how you feel and let it all out on paper. Me, I'm an author. I get a lot of my feelings out on books. Perhaps you're an artist. Perhaps you're a um, a singer and you write songs. Whatever it is, we all have to have that mold, that method of release, right? So that we're not holding it all in and cry. Take walks on the beach. Take walks through the park. Go sit with yourself at Starbucks and enjoy your coffee and people watch, right? Um, Here comes that baby girl dream, y'all. So she came right in the middle of my life and she's going to come in here loud. Ooh, and she got that tablet. She's ready. She ain't seen her grandma. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second, because we're about to get into this live. I have a lot to discuss, and you guys do not want to miss it. Thank you all for waiting. I really appreciate that. Um, that's what a life is like when you're a grandma. Well, let me see. Who's all in my life? Let me say hello because I've seen a few of you and I want to say hi to you all. Okay. I hate when my phone does this and I can't. Let me do it this way.
Mm.
Here, go with Kamaria. Go with Kamaria. Let me see. Who all do I have? Hey, Simply. How are you doing today? Who else do I have in here? Uh, Brooklyn, Huggins. Hey, how you doing? Simply, you at work today? I guess Dream missed me. She did not want to even go outside to play, and she loves to go outside and play. But that's the best part of family, right? That is the best part of family. The kids, the babies. That's what I love the most about being a part of a family. I love my children. I love my grandchildren, and especially watching them grow up. Right? That's what life is really all about. And if you want, I was at Disneyland this spring, and my granddaughter said, if she said, I feel sorry for people who don't have family. And that made me feel so good inside because in that moment with her grandmother, with her mom, with her aunts, with her sister, she felt the sense of familyhood and she really felt so loved in that moment. And it just made me feel great because that's what I give my children. I give them a sense of family. I give them togetherness, right? And a lot of people don't have that. Uh, their family is fractured because of trauma, because of drug addiction, because of abuse, neglect, right? And when you fracture a child at a young age, it's hard to put that person back together again. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much healing you say that person needs. I don't care how much prayer, how much Bible reading they do. I don't care how much churching they do. A lot of people turn to drugs, alcoholism. A lot of people become uh, abusers themselves, right? So you can't tell somebody to just get over it because when it comes to childhood trauma, it's not about just getting over it. And the reason why I wanted to do this live and I felt it was so important is because I see Peach back on another one of her cycles about her childhood trauma, and I've been watching the Lit family, and those kids have been speaking to the trauma that they are enduring in their family, and I just feel like it's something that really needs to be talked about. I talked about trauma in my book, The End of August. It's available on Amazon if you guys want to read it. And I discussed the family dynamic in this book, and it's one of the books. It's the last book I wrote. It came out in 2022, and it's a book that I'm very proud of because it shows how uh, it shows a lot about sibling rivalry, and it also shows the dynamic of cousins and how, your child, you may have a sibling who has children and you want your family to stick together, but at the same time, there's problems and issues and things that you are concerned with. So, I spoke earlier about being able to have an outlet for your trauma and for the things that go on. For me, when I'm feeling a way about something, I write about it. In a lot of my books, all of my books, I there's a lot of truth. It's fiction. I have a vivid imagination. Girl. And, you know, I try to be creative in a way to where I can tell my story and get it out without being too honest, but being honest at the same time, right? So the only people who know the truth is probably me and God when you read my books because I try to weave my stories in such a way where I can get the truth out without really identifying who did what to whom. You know what I'm saying? But, there might be instances that I've written about that some people, if they, and that's another thing I don't have to worry about because my family may buy a book, but they're not going to read a book, especially not a book of mine. So I don't have to really worry about them reading it and feeling the way. And strangers, like I said, they don't really know what's true and what's not. Like you won't know which part was true and which part wasn't true. So I'm able to write and I'm able to get out my ideals. I'm able to use writing as a way to express how I feel, to create, and to allow my imagination to work. So if you're watching this, I recommend that you find a way that you can get your your feelings out about whatever it is. I don't care if it's stress from work. I don't care if it's a marriage that you are ready to leave, or perhaps you're just feeling away. It doesn't have to be about anything or anyone. It could just be you personally, and you want to be able to express yourself. Find a creative outlet. It's writing is like a great way, but listening to music and singing and writing poetry, any type, any form of art, painting, drawing, it's all those are all good ways to get your feelings out in a productive way, right? So please do that. Also, I definitely recommend getting a therapist, and I definitely recommend going to church, because for me, when I listen to gospel music, when I go to God, like whatever feelings I have, and sometimes I was just like, oh, I don't want to go through these emotions, but whatever feelings I have, and the Bible says, cast all your feelings onto God. Whatever I'm going through, I don't care what it is. As soon as I open up that Bible, it's like I'm reading the scripture for me. As soon as I start praying, it's like God is, He's, you know, unplugged a valve or something like that, and I just release. So definitely, if you're a Christian or you're a believer, I don't know what your faith is, but I highly recommend that you lean on your faith, because families are a trip. Families are a trip. I'm just going to say that right there. Families are a trip, and you know, you might think that your family is the worst, but another person could come along and tell you, you know, my family is way worse than yours. And that's just the honest truth, right? You know, I'm sorry. I can't get to my comments. I was doing this last night as well. Hey, Daily Sips with Jazzy J. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about families in crisis, particularly Peach McIntyre and the Lit family. And they've been going on and on. The Lit family has been going on for the like last 2 weeks. And the other day I said on a live that I don't know if this is another skit, if this is a way for them to make money. Hi Janet, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I don't know if, because you don't know, right? A lot of things that we see on social media is smoke and mirrors, right? A lot of people come on here with the intent to make money, and they don't care what they got to do to make it. And if their old way isn't making them money, then they're gonna come harder and harder, and they're gonna use whatever they have to use to make that money, right? It's unfortunate, but they do. So I'm always leery of it. Just like when the Diddy stuff started happening when Cassie first came out. I'm like, well, on the one side, why would she come out and say this if this is not true? And then when he settled it, I'm like, there's got to be some truth to it, but I just didn't know how much was true, how much wasn't true, right? But it just seemed so scandalous, right? Like it was hard to believe. You thought, okay, maybe she just wants money, and she did want money because she asked for it. That's how we know. But we also know that that was a complex story, but it was true. It was true. Now, that's not what I'm talking about today, but I'm just speaking to how I was reticent to believe it, how I doubted it. And that's who I am, right? I'm not just going to take anything at face value. So I don't know if these families are keeping it real or not. All I know is they need help. All of them need help. It's crazy the stuff that these people are going through. Like, why are you coming to the internet with all that stuff? If it's true or if it isn't true, right? But especially if it's true, why not? And in the Lit family situation, if what they're saying is true, if they were being forced to come to do content, and if they were being abused because they didn't do content, then coming to social media and exposing their family may be one of the only ways that they can get help from other family members and perhaps stop the abuse now that attention is brought to it. And let's be honest, get a quick buck from the public to move on with their lives, because let's face it, if they were helping their family to make money and their parents weren't giving them any of the money, and now they're on the street or they're homeless because the father was being abusive, they need to make money. And this is a way they have learned to make money. The mother said that some of them don't have high school diplomas even. So I don't understand that. If you were making it your business to make money online, then you should have been making it your business to make sure your kids were getting their schooling. So that's what I have to say about that. I don't like how the kids are going about it, but again, this is the way they were raised. They were trained to be dramatic. They were trained and reared and brought up to expose themselves this way. And they said their parents would tell them, no, you got to do it like this. You got to do the content this way. This is how we're going to make money. So they have learned, and not only from their family, but they're learning from the public, that this is how we can get the public enticed. This is how we can keep people coming back. So that's what they're going to do. One of the kids said they were taken out of school to do content. That's crazy. And if you were taken out of school to do content, there's homeschooling, there's virtual schooling, and it's too many hours in a day where you should need to do that. And that's another thing that I have an issue with. If you're going to be a content creator, have a method to your madness. They are a big content family on TikTok. The Lit family has 2.5 million followers, or I think it's followers on TikTok, and then they have 333K on YouTube. So you have quite a following, and then you have other other pages. You don't just have one page. You guys are making a lot of money, or it appears that you should be making some type of money. And if you're not using your brand effectively, and that's what really needs to be addressed. Well, second to the claims that the children have made. Now, at this point, children and family services should step in just to authenticate the claims, just to determine if any of it is true, and if anything else, to do family reunification, to get the family counseling, to see if the father if he's truly abusive, then the children don't need to be in a home where they are being abused. If there's a difference in opinion, because sometimes I was a teenager, I remember, and at that point, when you've had parents who haven't always been a parent, then it's hard to trust them. It's hard to communicate with them. And sometimes you just need to separate. So maybe those girls need to get out, and children's services can help them with getting housing, because I think Jazzy, the one that's doing a lot of the talking, she's only 18, and I don't know from state to state how things work. I've never been involved with children's services, thank God, so I'm not sure. No, they're not living normal lives. Even if the abuse wasn't there, they are not living normal lives. Sunshine, they're not living normal lives because their lives are being led on social media. So, that's a different thing to begin with. You know what I mean? So they don't have the ability to enjoy life. We've seen how kids who are on Nickelodeon, kids who are on Disney Kids, we've seen how they come out later on and said that they felt they were being abused. Their parents gave them substances so that they could lose weight, or they were taken advantage of by adults, or they were made to work hours and hours. And we've heard things from people who are child actors, right? We've heard lots about how their lives have been led behind the scenes. So we know how traumatic children working at such a young age can be for them. And that's not everybody, because some kids, and I know I was that kid, I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to dance. I wanted to sing. I didn't want to act, but I wanted to be a singer, and I wanted to write books, and I wanted to write songs. I wanted to do it all when I was young. I'm still a ham. But I wouldn't have wanted to work long hours. I wanted to do other things besides that. And that's when it becomes problematic. When it comes to your kids, yes, push them a little bit and show them what they are capable of, right? Don't just let them shy away from making money and things like that, because honestly, social media can make a cute little coin for the family. It can help in raising the kids. It can help in sending them off to college. It can help to feed your family, and it can help you all to vacation and do some of the exciting things that kids want to do. But make the your budget, have a budget that includes that as well. Don't just have a budget to go get Louis Vuitton and to go vacation and to get your BBLs and your jewelry. No, put that as a part of your kids' budget. Say, for instance, and I'm going to bounce back and forth between the Lit family and Peach McIntyre, because I was watching Peach, uh, I think she put the video on Everyday with Woods channel, with the family, with her family, Peach, her husband, and their 9 children at Disneyland. And one of her children, who is autistic, Choice, she has shared that with her audience. She, all the time, as often as she chooses to, that she's an autism mom. Choice has autism. And he was asking her questions, and she said, well, sometimes Choice asks me the same questions again and again and again. And he does it because he wants me to stop whatever I'm doing. Well, with autism, that's how kids express anxiety, frustration. He's in at Disneyland, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. And she's not even considering that not just the autistic kid, but all of the kids may be tired. They're doing a lot of walking. It's late at night. And they go to Disney quite often. Those kids are probably tired. What she's thinking of, she has to get her content out. She wants to do her video, and Choices just interrupting her. That's when I say you need to take some. You say you make thousands. She said, I make thousands and thousands of dollars as a content creator. Okay, your husband is a part of your content, and I know you say you give him lots of money. And I do see you taking your kids to Disney, but Peach made the comment during this same video that there's no way to get tired of Disney. And Gorgeous said, well, I'm tired of Disney, right? So she's not really considering the fact that her kids may not want to go to Disneyland weekend after weekend, but that's what she wants to do, and that's what makes her happy, and that's the content that she wants to show. So it doesn't really matter if we gotta lug all 9 of these kids, newborns included. It doesn't matter if my newborn has been having seizures, or if one of my kids got sick to the point he had to be hospitalized. We're getting this content, and we're going to Disney. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to go to places like Disney. However, why not take some of that money to get help, right? So why not use some of that money to get Choice the ABA therapy that he so desperately needs? Choice is, he's crying a lot. He's showing a lot of frustration. He's showing that he is overstimulated. A place like Disney is a lot for me, and I'm an adult, right? I feel like I'm a pretty sane adult. I don't know. That's questionable. However, it can be a lot for a child who doesn't have any disabilities, or a normal child, right? So why take Choice, who is 13, to a place like that? They were forced to do 4 videos a day plus edits, and one day it's hard for me to do a video. Right. Like, it's hard for me to go live and cook dinner and you know, groom myself. Like this morning already, I've been on a driving lesson with my daughter. We had to take care of some business for her because she's starting college in a couple of weeks. Um, then I went to Walmart because I wanted to make another piece of red snapper. That red snapper was good, okay? And I wanted to marinate it. And then they also want jerk wings. So I went and got more wings from Walmart and came home, put my red beans on because I'm also making red beans and rice. And then I did some shorts and I took some pictures for later. And now I'm here live before you. And God, goodness, I'm tired. So when I get off of here, next I have to go take care of personal business and other businesses that I have, right? I have to get to that today as well. So it's it's not even 12 p.m. and I've done all this already. So just imagine setting up all this stuff day in and day out. When really you could pick 1 or 2 days out the week and say, okay, this is going to be a content day. And you can film them and different, like, I think of content and I think of ways to include my children and different things that we're going to do. And I ask, is this okay? Would you guys want to do this? And I make it worth their while. But I talk about my life as a mom. The name of my channel initially was My Life as a Girl Mom or Life with the Barbs, but it was based around me and motherhood, around my businesses, around my content, around my books, the things that I do, because motherhood is a big facet, a major facet of who I am, but that's not who all I am. Motherhood is secondary to who I am because first I'm a child of God. First, my relationship with God matters so much to me, and it's the basis for how I am a mother, right? They wouldn't have the mother they have if I didn't have a relationship with God. And I feel like I'm a doggone good mother because I love God, and I feel that I've been entrusted with this responsibility. So I take care of them. I take care with them, right? But first is God, then second is me. Because if I'm not healthy, if my mindset isn't at peace, then I can't be, again, a mother to them. So I am a Christian and I am trying to take better care of myself because I want to be a good mother. And I'm going to tell you this, content comes last on the list. Um, I do it to make money. I don't do it just for fun. I like doing content, but I'm here for a reason. And that's to spread the message about um, my affiliations, my books, things like that. So there is a way to include your family without bombarding your family. You, as a content creator, you can't, this is your job. This is what you want to do. It's not what your family wants to do, it's what you want to do. Now, of course, with younger kids, you can include them a lot more. Babies, they really don't have a choice in the matter. But as they get older, you can't dictate to your family that they should perform online, right? So, like, upload a video later. I'm working on about Peach and her family at Disneyland, and she's the way she treats her husband even. Now, someone said, well, Wood's no good. He's a cheater. He doesn't help, blah, blah, blah. But Peach has determined that she's going to stay with him. She married him anyway after years of cheating and beating. She still married him. And after she married him, she's had 3 more children, right? 3 or 4 more children after marrying him. So she stayed with him. She decided that he would help out in the home while she made the money with the content. So that's her choice. So why put him on Front Street all the time? Why constantly? You're going back 20 years, 15 years. You said that the abuse has stopped. The drinking that your husband used to do has stopped. So why keep dredging it up? Just like why keep dredging up the past with your mom, especially since you are no longer speaking to your family? Why bring it up? It makes no sense to me, especially when you're doing it to drag your family, to shame your family, and even family members who have never been on social media, uh, not in a way where they are exposing themselves, right? We don't know these people. You're bringing up people's names we don't even know. And these people, they are on the, on the outlier, on the outside of your family, or however you say that. They are within your family midst, but they are not your immediate family. Your immediate family is your husband and your children, right? And your mom, you don't have to have a relationship with your mom. If your mom was as abusive as Peach claims she was, if she did all the things that Peach says she did, such as, and I'm not even talking about the dirty bathwater, but scrubbing her neck in front of people, making Peach feel insecure, uh, all of those things, then I can see you wanting to distance yourself from her. I can see you saying, you know what, for my peace, for my health, I have to, cut off. But it seems like from the pictures that I've seen, uh, she's always been a part of Peach's life and helped her with her kids. So even even just 6, 7 months ago, when Peach had her twins, she had her twins go to her mother's house. And then she said, no, I just used her because I wanted my husband to be with me. You sent your children over to your mother to be babysat while you gave birth. So how bad of a parent could she have really been if you trust her to keep your kids? That's the part I don't
I
get.
didn't get that. Could you try again?
That's the part I don't get. Because if I don't trust my mom, and if my mom is that bad of a person, she's not watching my kids. Now, I will say this, sometimes you don't have any other choice because all you have is who you have. And you hope and you pray that that parent has learned from their mistakes in the past and that they see how they hurt you as a child and they would know to take better care of your children. Raven. Okay, so that's where the issue is. The issue to me with Peach is not her age, not that she's even telling her story. Peach has a right to talk about the things that affect her. She has a right to share it, but Peach, you already shared it like 40, 50 times. Like in the last 2 years, like every time your content, and it's like every time your content is low, excuse me, your views are low, the money you're making is low, that's when you come out with it. So you're using your trauma to make a dollar. That's the point. And you're doing it to hurt other people. You're calling your mother names. If your mom did all that stuff to you, fine, be done with her. But to get online and to call your mother names, to tell all your family business like that, things that didn't have nothing to do with you as a kid. If your grandmother was sleeping with the neighbor's husband or sleeping with the pastor, that is none of your business. It's not. I'm just saying it's not good behavior and it's not a good way to model. It's not a, you know, as a mother, I wouldn't want my children to, I wouldn't just so cavalierly say, yeah, I'm doing X, Y, Z and think it's okay. No. If I told my children, hey, I did this, but listen, this is not the way you want to be. This is what I learned from that. And this is why I want you to make better choices and decisions. It's not okay to sleep with your pastor. It's not okay to sleep with your best friends. Man, I would tell my kids that. And if anything, Peach, you should have learned, okay, that's not a good thing to do as a woman because you've been cheated on several times. But you don't ever tell the things you do or that you have done. According to Pete, she didn't know who her second child choice. You didn't know who his father was. And you and Wood have broken up several times. You talk about what Wood did, but what have you done? And then you said, well, my husband doesn't like me talking about the stuff I did. Wood was sitting there while she was going back down memory lane, and he was just sitting there with his head and his hair just shaking it like, Like, I'm tired of this. And there's only so long somebody can be tired before they either explode or they walk away from you for good. There's no amount of money in the world that could cover you disrupting someone else's peace. So I asked the question, should you talk about your family drama online? Good, oh, it's evening for you, Osmain. Are you in Africa? Thanks for tuning in. What do you guys think? Should you talk about your family issues online? No, we shouldn't in this manner. Right. Not in that manner. And not for a cash grab. If it's for a cash grab, if you're leading with let me make a money because they're making several parts to the story. Like 20 and 30 parts. They're coming on live. They're the and this time I'm speaking of the Lit family. And Peach too. She said, "Oh, I made more money on Facebook than I made on TikTok just by telling my family trauma yesterday. So I will be back to tell more. We can discuss it in a different way, like I said, as a testimony, but for clicks and base and cash, no. Right, simply. And that's where the issue lies with me. Not in you sharing your story, because we all have come, I've shared things on here. And I've seen others come on and share. I feel like whatever you're comfortable with sharing, you can share. And even the ugly parts, even the parts that somebody else might be ashamed of. But if you're going to tell the truth, tell it all. That's another thing too. Tell the whole truth. Tell the part you played in it. Tell the things you've done. When I go to God in the mornings and I ask God to help me to forgive, and I say, God, help others to forgive me as well. And I know that I'm not a victim. I've not done things personally, but I've said things that might have hurt somebody. And I know I may have caused somebody else grief in some type of way. I'm not a thief. I'm not a liar. So nobody can say I've done those type of things to them. But as far as cursing them out, people can say I've cursed them out or I've said something that really hurt them. And it doesn't matter why I said it. That's why I try to make sure that I'm cautious about what I say to people. But I will say this, I can get mad and I can get angry, and I don't have a filter. Even if I think I'm having a filter, even if I think that I'm holding back, I have a way of saying things. My grandmother said to me, you have a way of saying things that gets to the core. I know that about me. I know what's going to get to your core, but I don't think people realize that they have a way of saying things and doing things that have hurt me to the point where I do that to them. So I shy away from people. I tend to stay away from people who I feel that I have to be on guard or on defense with, because if I have to guard everything I say, and because I can't trust you with it, or if I feel like I'm going to blow up at you and crash out on you, I don't need you in my life. So for sure, these families, you do need to separate. We all have a past, but sometimes need to remain in the past. I'm going to say this to that, Janet. The past affects the future. If and this is what psychologists say, if you don't, you have to be careful how you raise your child, because your child, whoever they are going to be, is determined by the time they're 5 years old. So if you have abused your child, if you have neglected your child all of their lives, right? And now they're an adult, you have given that child trauma. That child has endured all types of things. So in Peach's case, or in the Lit family's case, they have said they have been abused. As you're giving, the core memories you are giving them are trauma or abuse. You're bringing up kids who are going to be insecure, who are going to have low self-esteem. Just like if you take a baby, right? And people say, don't spoil that baby. There's no way to spoil a baby. A baby is a baby, and a baby only knows how to cry. They don't know how to talk. So you have to teach a child about love by hugging them and kissing them. You have to teach your child that they can trust you, that when they wake up, your face is going to be there, that when they're hungry, going to be fed. My daughter Raven, I speak to her because she's the youngest. That little girl would always get off my lap. Like I would try to hold her, right? But as soon as she could crawl, she was like, "Get off of me," because she knew mom's right here. I'm gonna go play with the kids. She could trust that I was going to be there. Babies who don't know that, babies who cry and cling to their mom, they're not secure in the knowledge that mom will always be there. Or perhaps they just haven't gotten it yet, right? But pretty soon when that child is 1 or 2, they're going to be running off and you're going to have to chase them because they're going to want to go play. um, my granddaughter Dreamy, for instance, when she goes out in public, she wants to talk to everybody because in her world everybody is nice, everybody is kind. She doesn't know. Just like right now, as soon as she came in here, she ran right to me, and she did not want to leave my side because for her, grandmother has always been a safe space. I don't. I have yelled sometimes, "Dreamy, stop it!" But spanking, she's never had a spanking from me. She's never been cursed at by me. She's never seen me be angry with her. All she know is love and affection when she comes to my house. So when she was walking up, I could see her walking up the path to my door, and she's happy and excited. She has her little tablet, and she's like, okay. She's not even saying bye to her mom because I'm going to grandma's. I'm about to have a good time. And that's what all children should feel. If you're spanking your 2-year-old for doing what 2-year-olds do, if you're yelling at your 4 and 5-year-old for making mistakes doing their homework, you're going to bring up a child that is anxious and nervous, right? That's going to be afraid. If you compare your kids to each other, if the father isn't in the home, you're going to raise up girls who are going to have daddy issues. If you're teaching your son to be the man of the house, you are putting too much on him. So you're going to raise kids who already have issues because they weren't allowed to thrive and be children. If your kids are deficient in an area, you have to stop what you're doing and recognize it. If you're working, right? Kids don't need shoes, expensive shoes. Kids don't need expensive clothes. Kids don't need expensive vacations. Kids don't need Disneyland. Kids don't need thousands of dollars spent on them. Kids need your love. Kids need your attention. Kids need your affection. Kids need to know they come first. They don't need mom. They don't. Let me tell you something. Kids don't even need 2 parents. Kids don't need 2 parents. They don't need mama and daddy in a home if mama and daddy aren't conducive to their well-being. If there's drama, if there's dysfunction, if there's arguing, if there's fighting, it's worse for a kid than if you raise your kid in a one-parent home. That's what a kid needs, that one parent, that one adult, that one structure where if she wants to get to grandma, just let her be. I'm going to wrap it up soon. They need to have that. Okay, they yeah. Yeah. They need to have that foundation where they can just leave her. Just leave her. She doesn't want to be bothered with you. John. No, leave my plant there, baby. No, leave it right there. Leave it right. Okay, you're cutting up, Dreamy. Leave my plants alone. They need that foundation where they can feel that they are the most important thing, right? That they come before your worries and your concerns. That should not affect kids. Here. Just leave it. No, Dreamy. No. All right, guys. I might do a part 2 later on today because when she's here, she's in charge. You know, Dreamy, no, don't bother grandma's plants. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This one got real ghetto. Oh yeah. Yep, Janet. Your grandkids love coming to me house. I know that's right. Janet, I was saying that's none of her business. Girl, what does that have to do with you? Your grandma getting her groove on. That don't have nothing to do with you. For real. Listen, live a little. Live a little. Because you're with Wood now, honey. And Wood might be the only person that wants you. So let Wood walk away. You don't know whose husband you going to sleep with. Let's be for real. All women have done something they're not proud of. All women. I don't care who says, oh, not me, not me. My life has been a prayer, but all women have done something that they are not proud of. Ladies, am I wrong? Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know. No. Dreamy, no. Dream. Right. I know I'm right, Janet. I know I'm right because I know I've lived a lot. When we had our pajama jammy jam, I talked about some of my little escapades, and that wasn't all of them, honey. That's why I try to be a good Christian woman right now, because I learned from my mistakes. But yes, that doesn't mean I want my children to look at me a certain way, or my grandchildren, but they don't know any of that stuff because I don't carry myself like that. And I've never carried myself like that around my children. So they wouldn't know what I did anyway. So that's kind of like bad on the grandma's part for letting Peach see that. But two, a lot of the stuff, you know how you hear people talking. I've heard a lot of things growing up, and I wouldn't just go around telling the things that I've heard, right? You don't just tell things that don't have anything to do with you. Like, your grandma didn't sleep with Wood, did she? If your grandma didn't sleep with Wood, what does that have to do with you? It wasn't your man. So why do you care what grandma was doing? How do you think you got here? Grandma was doing something with some man. That's how you got. How your mama got here and your mama was doing something with somebody. That's how you got here. Peach is on YouTube all the time showing her husband's in a way that I would never show my husband, and showing herself in a way. So what's the difference? Like, you can't be a hypocrite. Like, don't say, well, mama, you did this, and then not see all the fingers that's pointing back on you. None of us are perfect, but some of us are worse than others. And as parents, we do have to take accountability for the things that we have done. But no, if you got a problem with me, tell it to me. And as a mother, it is up to you to say, you know what, I hurt you. I did do that, whether I did it intentionally or not, whether I did it knowingly or not. I hurt you. And if you're a parent and you hurt your child, it's up to you for however long it takes to remedy that situation. You can't go around hurting somebody and thinking it's okay to just say, well, I'm sorry. If I hurt you, I'm sorry for the things I did. No, you can't break somebody. You can't even wreck my car and not pay for it. You got to make me whole, or I can take you to court and sue you. Right? I can't break my children to the point where they're living with depression, they're living with anxiety, they're living with trauma. Because trauma isn't, like if you break your arm, you can go get a cast on it, right? You can't erase trauma that way. It stays with you. It comes when you smell a flower. It comes when you hear a song. It comes when you're alone by yourself and you're watching TV, or a thought just comes out of nowhere. So no, you can't just say, oh, trauma go away, because it comes even when you're happy, right? So, and if Pete said, okay, today I went down this street and then all those memories came flooded in, and she wants to decide to talk about it online, you can't get mad at her and say, well, why are you talking about it? Why are you bringing it up? If she's talking about, I remember this day when this happened to me, and this is how I felt, and I remember I was going through this, and this is what, but if you're coming on there, B, you did this, and okay, you're coming in an antagonistic way, and at this point, it's like you're turning not only are you insulting your mother, you're turning off your followers. A lot of people have turned against Peach, and a lot of people say negative things to her because she is so negative. Rasa has owned up to the things she did. She broke down in one of lives. So what more can she do? I don't know what she can do, but because if she's owned up to it, but maybe and I think Peach said that it wasn't even just the childhood stuff, it was stuff that she's done recently, and she called her a liar. And but that was 2 years ago. But like I said, Peach is not just telling, that's why I said, Peach is not just telling this because it just happened or because something new happened. Now, you haven't spoken to your mom in 2 years. You told the story. You embarrassed her. You shamed her online. Everybody knows what your mother did to you. Everybody knows how bad of a person your grandmother was. Everybody knows. So now what you're doing, you're using it to get money. Okay? And that's not cool. The same way you are using your husband. You know that drama sells. And you're using old drama. You got old pictures from high school, Peach. Now today you say Wood is a good husband. Wood is always there for you and your kids, and single baby mamas are jealous of you. So why are you steadily, if you married this man, if you chose to be happy and stay with him, why would you keep bringing that up? And then what does his baby mamas have to do with you? They were before you, for one. They were before you. So why are you coming on? Well, didn't you say you didn't want her because she was fat and that wasn't your baby? Remember, you lied and said that wasn't your baby. So why would you humiliate his children and humiliate the other women? They have nothing to do with you. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about families in crisis and coming to YouTube with your family drama. You're not coming on here and using it as a way to heal. E. Kane talked about that. She said, I never came on here with the intent to be famous or to make money. I came on here because I had nobody to talk to. And E. Kane has went and got the help. I love that for her. E. Kane is trying her best to be a better mother. E. Kane has gone back to school, and it matters so much to her that she changes for her children. She knows the drama and different things that she's been through with her baby daddy. And she talks about that, but I have never heard her just come on here, even about her baby daddy or anybody, and just drag. She comes on here and she talks about it, she shares, and it's not always pretty, but she shares in a way that others can relate to, others are intrigued with, and want to listen to her story. And what's wrong with that? I have a story to tell. I might tell it one day when I'm comfortable with telling it. I may not. I don't know. But if I tell it, it's going to be in a way that I'm telling it when healing has already occurred and I can help others. I'm not ever going to get on here and just come on here and just say stuff, because most of the time people don't care. People don't care. After they hear it the first time, they're like, what? And they're tuned in. But after the second or third time, they're like, girl, please stop. We heard that story. Nobody wants to hear that. Maybe your new followers who didn't know, they might want to hear it. But the people who've heard it once, then it starts to diminish your story, right? It starts to cheapen what you've gone through. So the more you tell it, the more desensitized your, hand me that book right there, Dreamy. Hand me that book. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you. The more people are going to start to feel like, you know what, now you're just dragging it. They're going to say, now you're dragging it. So you're on here sharing it. You're turning off the people that were already there and who already felt sorry for you. People don't care like that. Whatever you go through, people don't really care. They got their own stuff. And now you're just you're triggering them and you're burdening your audience with your problems. So why tell it? Put it in a book like I did. The end of August. You guys want to guess what's true and what's not? Read my book. It's available on Amazon. It's under my name, C. Darrell Howard. I'll put the link in the description, or you can go to my Amazon storefront and you can go to my books on my Amazon storefront. They're all there. And like I said, a lot of my books are realistic accounts of not just my life, of other people's life. So when I want to talk about something I maybe shouldn't be talking about or sharing because it's really not my tea, it's somebody else's tea, I throw it in the book and I change the names, I change how people look, I do all of that. But yeah, like in my book Baby Girl, for instance, my friends, they were all like in different ways. They had a lot of the traits of people that I grew up with. But I don't know if anybody could tell, okay, this is me, that's me. You would have to read it and you would have to kind of try to guess if that's you. Like, and sometimes I just put like the envy, I express that in a character. I express fear in a character. I express neglect in a character. I express how I felt about somebody. Like, it's not an actual person. It's just how I feel about you, how you made me feel, and I put that into a character. So be careful how you treat an author. You might become a wicked witch in their book. So I think that's how, like, in Cinderella and fairy tales like that, I think that's how, like, we get the wicked stepmother prototypes and the Prince Charming. It's not that there's an actual Prince Charming, but this is the type of man, like a woman who wants to be saved, right? This is how she would want her man to make her feel. So that's kind of how my books come about. And like I said, I wrote the end of August for a lot of reasons. All the month of August is pertinent to my life, but I also wrote it um, about boys coming up and families and the family dynamic and how we have to really concern ourselves with how we are raising men to treat women and how we are raising our boys, because it's so important to how the black family structure manifests itself, right? If we don't raise the men right, how can they be leaders? How can they be fathers? How can they be expected to raise their families and lead their families if they are not loved on, if they are not brought up that way, right? If we're traumatizing our children, if we're our children's first bullies, if we are our children's first sense of what life is, then how can we expect them to grow up to be adults who are loving towards others, adults who love themselves? So I do believe that there's a place to tell your story on social media, but do so responsibly. Even if your story is going to hurt someone else, even if somebody is going to be ashamed that the story is coming out, you still have a right to tell your story, but do so in a manner in which you can tell it to help others and after you have healed from it. That's just like I see people on this weight loss group I belong to. I think it's cool to share the process, but people want to share their progress photos, and sometimes you see a big difference, and sometimes it's like, okay, well, which one is the before and after? And they're like, I've been working so hard. Honey, you just getting started. You're just getting started on your journey. You could talk about the process, talk about what you're doing now, but which one is your before and after? I cannot tell. Right? So why tell your story before you healed? Because a testimony involves the part that you went through, a middle part when you're going through it, and an ending where you came out of it. And lastly, how you dealt with it. What became of you? Did it make you bitter, or did it cause you to love life more and get closer to God. If you don't have an ending to that story, if you don't have a testimony that's going to glorify God, keep it to yourself and keep it off the internet till you get there. Until you get there, because then you can help people, you can help other people, because that's what people really want. They don't want to hear the part where you went through hell. They want to hear the part where you came out of hell. People don't really want to see the part where you're losing the weight. They want to see the part where you've lost the weight, right? They don't want to see you talking about your struggles if you're not getting to the, if you're not going to do anything about it to make it better, right? So when people come to your page, they should see not only struggle, they should see the other side of struggle. They should see you doing better. They should see you going to therapy now. They should see you living happy now because you went through all of that. And that gives them the ability to see that whatever they went through, they can get over too. That's why people want to get to the end of the story. They want to see what happens in the end. They don't want to hear about all the drama that you're going through. And you can hold some people's attention with that some of the time, but after a while, it's going, okay, like you were going through that last year, you were going through that 6 months ago. Where's a new story? Like, I don't want to hear that. I know I don't. And you could tell it a million different ways, but I still don't want to hear your drama. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for listening. I know I got a little bit crazy in there with my grandchild coming in. But that's life, right? And I love my grandbaby, so I'm going to get off of here. I'm starving. What time is it? She done took my watch off and everything. It's 12:25. I'm ready to go get something to eat. So I'll talk to you guys later. If you're watching the replay, thank you for tuning in. Comment and let me know that you came by. And you guys stay blessed.